to this week's edition of The Limelight, and my name is Sima Polo. Now, next week on Monday, Ugandans will be celebrating the 61st independence anniversary of Uganda, and to every country it is a time to celebrate freedom, celebrate and reflect on the sacrifices the citizens made to acquire independence. And for Uganda, 61 years, really it's good time, and that is why we need to reflect on the progress the country has made in the last 61 years of independence, and possibly look into the future as we move along as Ugandans. And looking into this particular topic, I will connect with the Honorable Fred Bill. He is the Secretary General for the Uganda People's Congress, a political party that led Uganda to independence on the 9th of October 1962. Fred Bill, he is also a former MP for Kole South, and he served in the 9th Parliament. Let's cross over and speak to Honorable Fred Bill in this particular matter of independence, and of course pick his thoughts on what could be the progress in these 61 years. Honorable Fred, you are live on Sol TV. Let's go straight to the question. How do you look at the progress as a country in these 61 years of independence? Well, we'll again connect with him. Looks like we are yet to get a clear picture of Honorable Fred Bill. He is the Secretary General for the Uganda People's Congress, party that led Uganda to independence, with the first Prime Minister, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote the late, receiving the instruments of power on that evening of 9th October 1962 at Kololo, when the British flag was lowered and the Ugandan flag was raised, and it was a momentous occasion. Of course, Ugandans celebrating after 70 years of British rule, and of course that is what we want to look at. After independence, 61 years, which we'll be celebrating on Monday. What is the progress on several fronts, looking at the politics, looking at governance, looking at other sectors. How have we progressed? How have we moved? What could have been the factors behind the delays in progress? And that is why we need to speak with the Honorable Fred Bill and pick his thoughts on that particular matter, which is actually important. Looking at 61 years, there must be a balance. Looking at the 61 years and looking at what has been achieved and what has not been achieved, time to reflect on the progress, the achievements, the hits and misses during the 61 years of independence is what we really want to do, and what we should be doing around this time. And of course, it can't all be a straight line. There must be challenges, there must be setbacks, there must be bottlenecks, but of course it is time to reflect on what has been done and what has not been done, and possibly look at how to progress forward, how to move as a country, and predict possibly where we will be in the next 10, 20, 30, or 100 years. Well, I know it will be, we will soon again reach out and talk to Honorable Fred Bill, but that is exactly what we should be doing at this time. Looking at the side of governance, well, much has been covered, but again, looking at the side of politics, there have been upheavals. There have been a time of catastrophes, but then at least there has been also instabilities, but there has also been a time of relative stability. And well, we need to connect with the Honorable Fred Bill. I don't know if he's coming up, but then, like I was saying, it is critical moment for every country when you sit to reflect on how far the country has moved. But again, it is a time to celebrate. It is a time to look at the sacrifices that were made, and at a time to recognize and appreciate the martyrs, the people who actually stepped in at the right time and laid their lives on the line for the independence of a country. So it's a cocktail of things to look at, but those are the things possibly we wanted to hear from the Honorable Fred Bill, and of course more so because he subscribes to the Uganda People's Congress, a party that led Uganda to independence. At that time, 61 years ago, well, there were at least 2 or 3 political parties. The Democratic Party had been formed. Then the UPC came later, around 1959. Then towards independence, Kabaka Yeka was also formed. Then there were those alliances of 1961, after the 1961 elections that brought in the late Benedicto Chiwanuka as the first chief minister. And of course, then there were the independence elections in which UPC went into coalition with the Kabaka Yeka, and then they managed to of course, get a victory over the Democratic Party, and they were handed the instruments of power with Dr. Apollo Milton Obote as the first Prime Minister of Uganda. And from there, then of course, looking at that journey, then there was the 1966 crisis. Then the fallout between Dr. Milton Obote and the Kabaka of Uganda, the late His Majesty Mutesa II, Frederick Mutesa II. Then, of course, 1967, of course, there were the first constitution, 1966, that was abolished. Then the 1967 Republican Constitution. Then 1979, Idi Amin, of course, toppled the first Obote government. Then there was a time of upheavals and instabilities, leading to the Moshi Conference, leading to the 1980 December elections, which is also on record that possibly there were issues there with that election. And then the Bush War of 1981 to 85 then comes in the National Resistance Movement government of 1986. But between 1985 and 86, there was the Rutwa government, of course, the Tito Kero Rutwa government. But after 1986, it is NRM that has been leading the country. The NRM government has led now the country for 37 years. So again, well, good. We have Honorable Fred Bill on the line. Let's go straight. If you can hear me, Honorable Fred Bill, tell us what do you make of the 61 years of independence for Uganda?
Yes, Apollo and viewers of Sol TV, one of the greatest TV in our land. I want to thank all the viewers and the management there for giving us this opportunity to explain the 61 years as a journey that we've moved that we've moved as a country also. The journey has been long, the journey has been bumpy, and as you know very well, this country was created by building bridges. On the night that when Apollo Milton Obote was invited by Sir Mutesa, Walugembe Mutesa, Frederick, he invited him in Bamunanika to discuss the future of the country. The country was at stake. The situation was not good, looking good. And as you know very well, we are composed of different communities, with some communities which have kingdoms and others don't have kingdoms. So there was that discussion that Sir Frederick Walugembe Mutesa wanted to know what will be the role of the kingdoms in the future of the country or the independent nation. So those are the discussions that they went to Bamanandika at night. They discussed late into the night, and the person who escorted Dr. Apollo Milton Obote was none other than one of the trusted subjects of Uganda, and as you know very well, he drove him, Dr. Apollo Milton Obote, in his own car, and that is Abu Mayanja Kachama. So with all this,
all right, look, it's not
different communities to take or to partake or to achieve the independence. Yeah.
Honorable Fred, I request you to quickly take us through what you think is the progress in these 61 years. What do you think has been the progress? Has it been slow? Has it been, that good? What do you think?
As you know, politics is not always a smooth ride. It is a question of fix and start. So Uganda as a nation went through a lot, and I want to assure you that during the government of Kabaka Yeka and UPC, we built 24 hospitals that you see in Chiriandongo, those hospitals that you see like in Bujiri, those beautiful hospitals in Abim. So that is why I say they achieved a lot in terms of health care, and also in education we built schools such as Lango College. You find in Uganda here we had so many schools built, and the alliance of Kabaka Yeka and the UPC, we built schools such as Teso College Aloet and many other schools all over the country. So that helped us in our education system, to improve our education system. And also in terms of poverty, we had the cooperative movements, the East Mengo Cooperative Movement, Cooperative Union, the West Mengo Cooperative Union, we had Masaka Cooperative Union, and many others, Lao Cooperative Union, Bugis Cooperative Union, Banyangole Kweterana Cooperative Union, and many others. So with this, it was not a mean achievement. Those cooperative union helped us in looking for inputs, agricultural inputs for the farmers, and also markets for the farmers, and brought them together to share information that was much needed at that time for the farmers. And with that, we as a people moved from actually what I would call the least developed country into the same level with the tiger economies at that time, South Korea were going towards middle income status if we had reached 1971 without interruption. So we're at the same level with Malaysia, Singapore, South Korea, among others. We were doing well, generally. It was only interrupted by the issue of the lost county, which the Kabaka disagreed, Sekabaka Mutesa disagreed. He didn't want it to happen, yet it was an agreement in Lancaster, and the Prime Minister signed it into law, and the referendum took place, and Bunyoro took over the lost counties.
Okay, Honorable Fred, Honorable Fred Bill, I will, in the interest of time, I request you to tell us what you think, looking at what has been achieved in 61 years. Can you make a prediction whether we are on the right course, or maybe we need to speed up? That is what I want you to tell us, and then possibly I come up with my final question.
Yeah, we are on the right course. We, as political parties, are still engaged under IPOD, Inter-Party Organization for Dialogue, still in the spirit of building bridges. As we know, the foundation that out of many we are one, knowing that much as we come from different communities and different political parties, our future is shared as Ugandans. That is the spirit that has driven us through these 61 years, in spite of all the bickering in politics, in spite of the coups that we've gone through. We still come together as different political parties and different communities and say that makes us proud of Uganda, and we believe we are in the right track. Although there are challenges that I can see, that some political players do not want to understand that dialogue is important. They want to go it alone. They want to move as singular political parties. But we think they should come and agree that through IPOD, we can still build bridges.
Finally, on the road to development, what do you think are those roadblocks possibly that should be removed so that we move fast and we cover a lot of ground in this progress after independence?
Yes, please. Yes, Apollo.
I was asking what could be the bottlenecks, what could be the roadblocks on the road to progress. Though we have moved, yes, we have made some achievements, but what do you think are the roadblocks that must be avoided or removed so that we move very fast? All right, Honorable Fred Bill, if you can hear me, my final question is, what could be those roadblocks that must be avoided or removed in order to move very fast and progress forward as a country?
We intend to make. Yeah, there are challenges, as I've told you. There are egos of some political players, leaders of political parties, not many, one or two, who may intend to block the spirit that we had in the beginning, that we are stronger together, that out of many we are one. The spirit that while we agree that we come from different communities, our destiny is singular, or our destiny is shared. So we need to come together, much as we come from different communities. Those are the leaders that we need to talk to and know that Uganda is bigger than small political parties that we have or we belong to, and our communities that we belong to. In any case, the global trend is that, like European Union, you are seeing people are coming together and saying they're forming European Union. So we should look at East African Community. We should look at the African Union itself as a single country or a nation. So we should resist the temptation of going it alone. That one doesn't work. So that politics of go it alone or working alone will not work in today's world. So we need to engage other political players to understand that the spirit that brought independence was building bridges.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Honorable Fred Ebir. Thank you so much for that detailed submission. And I can only wish you very good independence celebrations on Monday. Well, that's it from Honorable Fred Ebir, the Secretary General of the Uganda People's Congress, a political party that led Uganda to independence, and we were picking his thoughts on what would be the progress in these last 61 years. Well, let's catch up next week. I must again tell you that happy Independence Day, but don't forget tomorrow we have workers' service at House of Prayer Ministry International, and coming up is a Misinji with Pastor Aloysius Bujingo. Don't dare go away. Good evening.